next panel that I want to bring to the stage is around Lightning. The capital in Lightning, yield in Lightning, these are all things that I'm very interested in learning more about. So I want to bring the next group of panelists, Pierre, Yash, as well as Jesse from Amboss. Please join me in welcoming to the stage.
All right. That was a great talk from Representative Davidson. And okay, so we're joined today by Yash Belavati from Surge. How are you doing, Yash?
I'm doing good.
And Jesse Schrader from Amboss. How are you,
Thanks so much
Jesse?
for having me.
I have a special place in my heart for Amboss because when I worked at Kraken and we got Lightning deployed, that was the site that I used to make sure everything was working correctly from the outside. Yeah, you know, we're still going strong, still growing quickly. The topic today is really around this concept of yield, which is a very controversial concept. I think in economics, but in particular in Bitcoin. So let's start with there. I think that this will help us kind of unpack the concepts that underlie yield. Where does the yield come from? Made famous by our friend Parker Lewis. I think that's kind of the big question. So I want to start with you, Jesse, on the Lightning side. Kind of where does Bitcoin native Lightning yield come from?
Yeah, it really comes from, at least what we focus on at Amboss, is taking the store of value idea and making it work as a medium of exchange. And that interface where you could deploy your capital and have it be supporting Bitcoin's use for payments. And so really we're using a Lightning node, just a very standard LND Lightning node. And the service that we offer is we take scoped permissions to say, I will open a Lightning channel for you. I'll close a Lightning channel for you. I'll help you set fees according to market rates. And that allows liquidity providers to deploy their Bitcoin, keep self-custody, and also support Bitcoin's applications for payments.
So we might be used to thinking about Bitcoin mining and transaction fees. For those not familiar with Lightning, do you want to kind of highlight how routing fees work and kind of what justifies them in some sense, right?
Sure. It really is about connectivity. I think my favorite analogy for this is building toll roads. You know, imagine that you're, trying to find your next destination. You're going to pull up Google Maps, and it's going to create a route for you. And along that route, you're going to pay certain tolls for certain roads. Let's imagine a future where, roads are owned by individuals instead of like one big government. And that's really how Lightning operates. So when you take a certain path, you're going to pay a certain fee, but comparing it to other settlement methods, this is 1,000 times cheaper. So yeah, and fast.
All right. So who will build the roads? Who will open the channels? Yash, from your perspective, from the Surge perspective, where does the yield come from?
So I'll set some context. So I've spent a lot of time in DeFi on the other ecosystem. I'm sure, like most of you, the way you see it potentially is it's full of tokenomics and all the Ponzi's.
I'm surprised we didn't hear any boos when you said DeFi, but okay.
I think that's I think the reason I got in is the tech. Definitely DeFi has the smart contracts and the yield curves and all the financial engineering that you can do on the EVM side is definitely a lot better than what you can do in Bitcoin and probably on Lightning. But I think definitely it is not used in the way it should have been. So a lot of token playbooks and whatever. I think it's kind of exploiting a user's desire to be in the market because what happened with the Web3 and like the crypto. So this is definitely a lot of teams try to solve this, where the yield comes from. I think one interesting use case that I could think of was how can you secure a different blockchains? Because Bitcoin is proof of work. I think that has the best, securing the network in terms of the security part of it. So that's not the one thing I saw, but it really didn't catch up because there was not a lot of demand outside Bitcoin. It's just like some,
They don't care about actual security
yeah,
outside
they,
of Bitcoin.
they really don't care about the actual security. So that's where I think in Surge we believe holding Bitcoin is much higher yield than expecting yield on Bitcoin. So that's what we are currently building at Surge, which is a non-custodial Bitcoin credit market.
Okay, so this credit market, is it dollars versus Bitcoin, or are people borrowing Bitcoin and paying Bitcoin-denominated yield? How does that work?
So it's a dollar. So user borrow dollar against their Bitcoin. So the way we see it is, so right now it's most of the lending protocols or products are bank-like, and I get the reason. It's because the programmability on Bitcoin is limited. On the Lightning is pretty dedicated for payments. So that kind of puts a challenge on like what you can build on top of Bitcoin, and then they're all bank-like. So what does a bank-like brings in? It brings a lot of the licensing cost, a lot of management cost. I mean, like there's a human in the loop when they are dealing with all this stuff. So that increases the cost of borrowing for the user. So, but if you look at DeFi, even right now, like the DeFi rates are like 3%, 4%, 5%. Like even you can go with your Bitcoin and borrow dollars at 3-4%, which is fantastic. But the problem is you give up your custody of your Bitcoin, which is definitely like, I'm sure this room is not comfortable giving up Bitcoin custody and give it to some random token on some EVM chain. I think which is something we're trying to solve. So now the DeFi, which is right now at like 4 to 5%, how can we bring that to Bitcoin and give the benefit to the Bitcoiners so that they can borrow at like much lower cost? We are targeting about 7% to start with.
So there was a news item recently with Aave where somebody kind of got liquidated due to a false price. And that's where, when you mentioned pulling the human out of the loop, that's where I kind of get nervous, is you still got a computer in the loop.
I totally get it. Yeah, so that's what happened with Binance. So oracles are pretty dangerous. So I think the auto dealer averages, that's what happened. Because what source are you using to like determine the price is really important. So I think this was probably like one of a kind incident where Binance was just referring to its own market. I mean, they were relying on their own spot price. So somebody pulled a lot of money out of it, and the price dipped, and the entire system price dipped. So that kind of went to, I think, a couple of $1 billion in liquidation. But it's a technical glitch, to be honest. But this is the trade-off, right? So are you gonna like put a human in the loop or like a tech in the loop? So that's always been a thing. So, but when I see it, if you honestly look at the data, the kind of money that's lost because of human error, I'm just talking about crypto, is way higher than when it is tech.
So how do you think about kind of making sure the DeFi lending is reliable, right? With oracles and what kind of underlying technologies are you looking at?
So the tech is really evolving on the DeFi side. If I just look back for 3 years, it has changed a lot. I mean, there's a new primitives that I've come across, in our case, what we are using is MPC, which is a multi-party computing. It's like multisig, just that there is a program behind that multisig, which is running all this. So which is, to be honest, has evolved in 2023, and stablecoins are catching up. So now you can actually use stablecoins to do a lot of payments. For example, like Square supports Bitcoin, and they recently started supporting stablecoins. That itself says there is a lot of demand for stablecoins. And the tech around stablecoins have evolved a lot as well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start. If we're thinking about Bitcoin native, it's really, I think, starts with self-custody, right? You're custodying it. How do you balance, and I'll ask the same question to Jesse on the Lightning side, balancing essentially you custody the Bitcoin, but doesn't there need to be an element of control and a third party that is liquidating the Bitcoin if the loan goes bad, or how does that part work?
Yeah, so the way to think about it is like there are two layers. One is the custody layer, which is the collaterals of the Bitcoin. So it should stay in Bitcoin. The moment it leaves Bitcoin, it doesn't make sense.
But Bitcoin can't really leave Bitcoin, right? So
I mean, in a sense, in the wrapping perspective, and now, so in our case, so there is the lending side of it, which is more of DeFi. So there is, or we would say, a coordination layer that sits right in the middle, which of course hooks into an oracle. The best way is don't just rely on one oracle. You need to kind of aggregate from different sources and make sure it's checked, and then you are actually liquidating when it kind of goes down the LTV.
Yeah. Jesse, how do you make sure that the self-custody kind of stays intact when you're trying to operate the Lightning node?
Yeah, self-custody is like the core of every product that we build. You have to be able to control your own money. Like that's the whole point of having this bearer asset. And we don't want to compromise on that at any point. So, but self-custody is difficult. So it means you are going to have to be responsible for 24 words. I know that's a lot to take on, but but overall, just having that set up and then layering on the ability to do scoped permissions. So I could say, you can do only these things. And when it comes to maybe like a more legal interpretation of what is control, the way that we look at that is, can I send your Bitcoin someplace else? And I want that answer to always be no. I am incapable of doing it. The cryptography prevents me from doing that. So really that's how it operates. And so it allows regular folks that aren't going to be Lightning experts to still be able to participate and to still benefit from Bitcoin's use as payments.
And so people are earning routing fees, so that's one source of we could call it yield. But isn't it a skill game, right? How much of it is you just put money on the Lightning Network and you get rich versus you actually have to grind and be paying attention to your node and feeding it like a Tamagotchi?
It's like one of my favorite ways to think about my node. It does require maintenance, and the yields are not uniform. So people will ask me well, what's the yield on Lightning? But really, if you're a toll road operator, well, what's the revenue that I'm going to earn? Well, it depends on what's the traffic that you'll be experiencing. Are you anywhere that's relevant for anybody's transportation? And also, what's the size of the road? So you could look at this at one way, if you want to send a large payment, you're going to stack all this Bitcoin on top of the back of your truck, but now there's a couple of overpasses in the way. Which route are you going to take? So it really sets it up so that if you are an important route, if you're unique in connecting sources and destinations, you're going to have a disproportionate advantage compared to other operators. But because we're lowering the barrier to entry, that means that the net effect is that the benefits of the Lightning Network are more distributed, and we're moving away from the hub and spoke model that I think people have in their mental frameworks. We want more participation, not less. We want the decentralized benefits, not centralized benefits.
So Lightning being permissionless, if you think about it, a toll road, you can only build so many toll roads between point A and point B. How's the yield greater than zero when you've got this hyper-competitive landscape of everybody wants to make money on Lightning?
Every hop adds risk. So one of these nodes could be offline. If you're high uptime, if you have low fees, people will naturally gravitate towards those routes. So there is a lot of competition, and we're watching things become more and more hyper-competitive. But we're also watching people that are deploying capital indiscriminately on the Lightning Network. And I just watched them pull out. I think Stroom just 2 weeks ago, they were offering tokens in exchange for people putting their Bitcoin on the Lightning Network. That's a full custodial model, completely different. And I just watched them shut down because it could not get yield. Meanwhile, we're watching our yields rise. And last month we hit 1.5% APY, which was incredible. And I'm super proud of the team for being able to achieve that. But it was because we put 5 years of data and research into this to develop machine learning models that optimize deployment of capital on Lightning.
So these machine learning models, those are proprietary, I'm assuming, right? That's the secret sauce?
But let's see, the data is our own, but we publish the research. So anybody can create something similar.
That's really cool. Okay, so Yash, on kind of the credit side, how big are these Bitcoin native credit markets today?
So we're kind of bootstrapping it right now. Otherwise, if you look just on the pure DeFi side, which is a non-native, it's 15 bill. I mean, that's a number.
15 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a serious number. A lot of trust. I'm assuming a lot of trust in Wrap Bitcoin at BitGo.
Yeah,
is
BitGo and Coinbase and Binance. Yeah. This is the top 3 players.
Yeah. So, what's the pitch to migrate that capital from non-native to native?
So, two parts. One is the yield on those pools right now. Aave is at like 3%, 4%. That's the max it can get. And the utilization is pretty low. It's probably at 20, 30% right now. And all that, stable coins, USDC, USDT, I mean, again, it's a lot more fragmented. It's just sitting idle right now. And people are not really borrowing against it because Bitcoiners are not comfortable, giving it up to like, BitGo or especially retail. Institution, yes, it makes sense. So in our side, so the story is for Bitcoiners, it's going to stay on Bitcoin. So it's not leaving the taproot address. It's controlled by you and the protocol, and you can verify it. That's the way we have made it. You don't have to trust it. I mean, that's the whole ethos of Bitcoin. Like, you don't have to trust it. You can verify.
And what are the dollars? Are those a stable coin on Lightning?
They are stable coins. So here's the thing. So when you get the stable coins, one is the utilities around stablecoin has like gone up, and second, we are also adding ACH and debit cards and this kind of utilities, the spending path that you can go and spend those in the real world.
Yeah, that's really cool. Jesse, okay, so wait, I want to go back. You said what APY did you guys achieve?
1.5% in self-custody.
That's so. Is that just from routing, or is there also channel leasing in that?
Oh, there's channel leasing. So what we built like one of the now it's the largest liquidity marketplace.
Let's start with what channel, like what inbound liquidity is, and kind of why that's a Lightning thing.
Okay, I'm probably not going to capture that in 5 minutes, but in order to receive a payment, you need payment infrastructure. Lightning Network is a full reserve system, so you can't create money out of thin air. It does not use credit. It does not use debt. I think that's the key advantage, and I don't want to destroy that because here we have the whole thing is Bitcoin. It's a simple contract on top of Bitcoin. In order to receive payments, you need someone else's Bitcoin connected to you. That is inbound liquidity. And we built a marketplace because we knew that people needed it. How do I find people that are willing to connect their Bitcoin to me to support my payments? And so we built a simple marketplace. Now it's the largest liquidity marketplace that's out there. It's been active for 5 years. And that's where we see most of the yield, or I like to call it fee capture, come from. So liquidity leasing, it's saying, I'm going to take some of my Bitcoin, I'll connect it to you for 30 days, and you'll pay me in advance for providing this service to you. And really, when we're onboarding institutional clients to our Rails product, we're making their Bitcoin available for leases. So they'll connect to these businesses that have lots of payments volume, that need to receive very large payments on the Lightning Network, and they have a lot of capital that they're willing to deploy. I mean, after we launched this product, we had a wait list of 3,700 Bitcoin. I mean, there's no shortage of Bitcoin looking for self-custody yield. The question for us is, all right, who's ready to start doing payments with Bitcoin? And we're prioritizing all of those people that are doing payments, that are taking Bitcoin as a medium of exchange.
Now, on the machine learning algorithms, it raises the question of, is this rise of advanced LLMs relevant, or is it just kind of orthogonal to your use case?
The large language models are fascinating, and I think recently we've been watching people connect large language models to their Lightning nodes and see if they can improve their operations. And to their credit, they can. Large language models are becoming amazing. However, like the research that we've done is on graph neural networks. So it's graph native, and Lightning Network is a graph. Graph theory is the math of networks. And so we're focused on network-focused machine learning, and that has proved we've outperformed many of the large language models. But it took a lot of research in order to get to that point. And we've ended up using the same algorithms that are used for planning internet ISPs, getting high throughput bandwidth, and also for pipe flow, just like can I distribute water effectively in a network. It's the exact same algorithms that are being applied, but now we're using machine learning to improve that.
And Lightning, it feels like gets more complicated every day, right? Something gets added, some feature gets added. Is the development accelerating, or is that is that something to look forward to? Is it too complicated now?
I think channel management is beyond a lot of people, but what we're seeing is people are plugging into Lightning, which is great for us because that means we'll do the channel management. This is stuff that we love. You'll plug in, you'll use Spark, you'll use Liquid, what have you, and it's all connecting the same system and all driving more payment traffic. But Lightning at its core is trustless and has that rapid settlement.
All right. Well, this was a fascinating panel. How can folks reach out and contact you, and kind of, are y'all hiring? Are y'all looking for investors, et cetera?
So we are right now in a private beta. So we are launching in April, so more like open private beta. So you can find us at surge.credit. It's a Bitcoin credit market.
Let's see. We're meeting with all sorts of folks interested to support our work going forward, and happy to discuss in more detail about that. But yeah.
Amboss.tech?
Amboss.tech. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.